The jukebox skips on the same 4 bars it's skipped on for months. Fade in on a hand gripping a woman's wrist too hard. "You don't get to ignore me in my own bar." Ray Duncan's voice comes out low. Thick with the 4th whiskey of the night, his fingers pressed white into skin that didn't ask for them. She doesn't pull away. Pulling away has never worked before. Not with Ray. Not with the version of him that shows up after sundown on a Friday. Cut to a man at the back table. Not moving. Not even looking up yet. "Last call in 5 minutes, folks," says the bartender, wiping a glass he's already wiped twice, not knowing he's about to watch something he'll still be trying to explain 20 years from now. West Oakland, 1965. A bar with Formica tables and a floor that never quite loses the smell of last Friday's sawdust. This is Ray's room. The regulars laugh at his jokes because laughing is easier than not laughing. The bartender, Sal, 50 years old, 5 years of pouring Ray's drinks, has never once seen him lose. Not because Ray is unbeatable, because nobody has ever had the nerve to find out. Tonight, the girl he's decided belongs to his attention came in with someone. A man at the back table. Thin. Quiet. A glass of something dark, untouched in front of him. Ray clocked him once, on the way to the bar, and dismissed him before the thought even finished forming. Not a threat. Not even a variable. If you've ever watched someone size up the wrong person in a room and get it catastrophically wrong, you already know the feeling this story is about to give you. Stick around for it. And if stories like this are your thing, this channel exists for exactly this. The moments right before someone finds out who they're actually talking to. Subscribe now, because you don't want to miss what's coming. Ray's hand tightens further. I asked you a question." She looks past him, just for a second, toward the back table. "Not for rescue?" "Just checking. The way you check a clock you already know the time on." The man at the table finally stands. He's not big. That's the first thing the room notices, and it's the thing that makes Ray laugh. A short, ugly bark of a laugh that turns a few heads at the bar. Next to Ray's built shoulders and construction site forearms, the stranger looks like an afterthought, like someone who wandered in from a different kind of night. "This isn't your business," Ray says, not even fully turning. "She asked you to let go," the man says. His voice doesn't rise. It doesn't need to. Sal stops wiping the glass. Ray turns all the way now, sizing him up properly for the first time. The quiet posture. The stillness that Ray reads as weakness, because stillness has always meant weakness to men like Ray. He lets go of the woman's wrist, but only to free his hand for something else. "You want to know who I am?" Ray says, stepping in. Somebody at the pool table sets their cue down. The jukebox skips again. The same 4 bars, oblivious. "I know who you are," the man says. "You're the guy who needs a whole bar to remember your name every Friday." The room goes quiet in the particular way a room goes quiet right before it gets loud. Ray swings. It's a big, telegraphed, furious swing, the kind that's ended plenty of nights in this exact spot, the kind that's never once needed a follow-up. Ray has thrown this punch 100 times in his life. He knows exactly how it lands. It doesn't land. Nobody in the bar, not Sal, not the pool players, not the woman herself, can quite reconstruct what happens next. Not that night. Not years later when they try. The man's body seems to simply not be where the fist arrives. There's emotion, brief, unhurried, more like the man stepped sideways to let someone pass than like he defended himself at all. And then Ray's arm is folded gently but completely against his own back, his balance gone, his knees buckling toward a floor that suddenly feels much farther away than it should. No punch is thrown. No blood. No crash of a body into a table. Just Ray, upright but immobilized, breathing hard, his beer still sitting untouched on the bar behind him, foam still settling. The silence that follows isn't the silence of a fight ending. It's the silence of a room that watched something happen and still doesn't know what it watched. "How?" Ray starts and can't finish the sentence. "Bruce?" the woman says quietly from the bar. "Not to explain. Just a name, spoken the way you'd say it to someone you love." And that's when it lands. For Ray, for Sal, for everyone still frozen mid-drink. The quiet man at the back table. The one who never raised his voice. Bruce Lee. Ray doesn't know the name the way the audience might. He's never seen a movie, never seen a demonstration, never once considered that the thin man nursing a drink in the corner of his bar might be one of the most dangerous human beings on the West Coast. All he knows, right now, held in a grip he cannot explain and cannot escape, is that every certainty he walked in with tonight was wrong. If this is the part where your stomach drops a little, that's the story working. Drop a comment telling me the exact second you realized who was sitting at that table, because that's the moment this whole video was built around. Bruce doesn't press the advantage. He doesn't twist the arm further, doesn't put Ray on the ground, doesn't give the bar the ending it's used to seeing. He holds him there just long enough for Ray's breathing to slow, for the adrenaline to curdle into something closer to fear. Not fear of pain, because no pain has come. Fear of what he doesn't understand. Then Bruce lets go. He steps back, unhurried, and looks at Ray. Not with contempt. Not with triumph. Something closer to patience. "I don't need you to be afraid of me," Bruce says. "I need you to be done." Ray doesn't answer. There's nothing in him built for this kind of ending. He's lost fights before, plenty of them in his football days, and losing he understood. Losing had rules, had a scoreboard, had a version of dignity built into it. This has none of that. This is worse than losing. This is being seen completely by a room that has spent 5 years believing he was untouchable and understanding, all at once, all together, that the untouchable part was never true. Bruce turns away from him entirely, walks back to the table, and sits beside the woman like nothing has interrupted the evening at all. She slides her glass across to him, still half full, and he takes a slow drink from it. Around them, the bar doesn't erupt in applause. Nobody claps Bruce on the back. The silence just slowly, carefully, turns back into the low hum of a Friday night. Pool balls clicking again. The jukebox stuck on the same 4 bars. Somebody finally laughing at a joke that isn't about Ray. Ray stands alone near the bar for a long moment, and then he leaves. Not humiliated in the way he expected to be. Nobody's laughing at him. Nobody's retelling it to his face. Worse than that. He simply isn't the center of the room anymore. In a bar where being the center of the room was the only thing he had left. If you've ever watched someone's whole sense of themselves quietly come apart without a single blow landing, that's a specific kind of story, and if you want more of them, subscribe. This channel is built entirely around moments like the one you just watched. The next morning, Sal is alone behind the bar, wiping down the same counter he wipes every morning, trying to reconstruct what his own eyes saw and still can't fully explain. He remembers the swing. He remembers it not landing. He doesn't remember the part in between, and he starts to suspect he never will. On the bar in front of him sit 2 glasses from the night before, forgotten in the cleanup. One still has an inch of flat beer in it. Ray's, untouched since the moment it was poured, the foam long since gone. The other is empty, rinsed by Bruce's own hand before he left, set down neatly like he'd never been anywhere near a fight at all. Sal picks up Ray's glass, pours it out, and doesn't say anything to anyone about what he saw. He doesn't have the words yet. He'll spend years finding them, telling the story to men who don't believe him, watching their faces change the way his own did that night. Confusion, then something quieter, something closer to respect for a man they never met. If this story stayed with you the way it stayed with Sal, that's exactly the reaction it was built for. Subscribe and tell me in the comments. What impressed you more? The technique nobody could explain, or the fact that Bruce never once needed to raise his voice to win?